Today, I wanted to cover a topic that is near and dear to my heart. You see, as a happily married husband with three amazing, beautiful daughters, I take protecting and defending them very, very seriously. In fact, if you know anything about my concealed carry journey so far through this channel, you know that it's basically the main and only reason I started to carry a firearm, along with the Bruin decision finally allowing me to do so. But I always wonder and am worried, what about when I'm not there to protect them? How can my wife defend herself alone, never mind with three young girls at her leg, without carrying a firearm herself? And that's the problem. My wife in particular has no interest in doing so. She thinks that's my job. And she's not the only one. In fact, out of almost 90,000 permit to carry holders here in the state of New Jersey, under 7,000 of them are women. So in this video, I wanted to go over why I think women should be carrying a firearm, figure out why they are not, especially here in New Jersey, and then come up with some ideas and hopefully even start a discussion with you guys on what we as men can do better to show the benefits to women across New Jersey and the country to carrying a firearm every single day. Now, I have one idea in particular at the end that I think may work, so stick around until the end of the video. But first, before we get started, if you have not checked it out already, check out in the description box down below my new podcast, the Behind Enemy Lines Show. We will be covering this topic in the next episode of that Behind Enemy Lines Show, where I will be having, let's call it women's concealed carry panel with three amazing guests. You will not want to miss it, so please subscribe and share. It is very, very important that we get this message out. Available here on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, you name it. As I mentioned, link in the description. Now, why women should carry a firearm? Simply put, women should carry a firearm for many of the same reasons men should, right? In order to protect themselves and their family in a self-defense situation from harm. We all can be targets to a criminal or psychotic lunatic at any point, but women are even more vulnerable. Why is that? Well, number one is the strength difference. You see, the average man has 50 to 75% greater upper body strength and 30 to 50% greater lower body strength than the average woman. In assaults involving male perpetrators, which account for around 90% of violent attacks on women, weapons like knives, fists, or body weight often leave women at a severe disadvantage. A firearm is the single most effective tool for equalizing that gap instantly. Studies consistently show that armed resistance by women stops assaults faster and with less injury than any other form of resistance. Reason number two is that you could defend yourself when help from someone else is multiple minutes away. You see, police response times average anywhere from 7 to 11 minutes nationally, can be much longer in rural areas. Most sexual assaults and home invasions are over in under 5 minutes. Carrying means a woman does not have to rely on someone else arriving in time, like a law enforcement officer. So from 2020 to 2023, there was a surge in female gun ownership that was explicitly tied to this. Multiple surveys found at the time that anywhere from 70 to 87% of new female buyers cited protection from crime or I have to protect myself because no one else will as their primary reason. They are also more often put into positions of vulnerability as well, like let's say office settings dealing with superiors, doctors' offices, drunk guys at the bar, you name it. And of course, there are sick, demented men out there, no matter what, that target women for heinous reasons that us men just generally don't have to worry about. Reason number three is the proven effectiveness against rape and lethal violence. Department of Justice data shows that resisting with a gun is the single most successful way for a woman to stop a sexual assault. Far more effective than screaming or running. The success rates are over 90% when a gun is displayed or used versus under 60% for other methods. In most instances, even just presenting a firearm to an attacker almost universally makes them flee and run away. So, if all the studies show that even just the presence of a firearm will deter almost any attacker, why are women not carrying more? Now, since if you are not able to tell, I am not a woman, I went to my Instagram page, which, by the way, if you are not following, definitely go follow at JCostusa, on x.com as well, at JCostusa. I posted this staggering statistic to see if I could get some women's perspectives because I have a little bit more women followers over there. And some of these comments were very, very interesting. Here's one that said, quote, "I think the shooting sport can feel intimidating, especially for women. When I'm at the range, I'm often the only woman there, and that alone can make the environment feel unfamiliar. Pair that with not always being taught properly or given enough time to build real confidence, and it's easy to understand why many women hesitate to take on the responsibility of carrying a lethal weapon. Well put. Here's another one. I think a lot of women socially are not conditioned with a general sense of aggression or assertiveness. Playing sports, maybe being in a fight or two, are all pretty normal parts of growing up as a male, whereas it's far rarer for women to have those kinds of life experiences. Add on to that all the extra stuff you have to do in New Jersey, and most probably won't go out of the way for purchasing permits and then carry permits. Every step is another layer to get through. And when there's so many layers, most people won't deal with it. And lastly, the laws and restrictions are a huge deterrent. Insurance is a non-issue now, and the permits take time, but also not difficult for purchasing. CCW classes are available all over NJ, but women need to be comfortable. Many are afraid to handle a firearm, and we need more outreach of sorts to allow them to really dive in and understand. I'm almost always the only woman. I am not intimidated, but it's common for majority of women to be. Now, all of these are extremely valid points and well taken. Training is time consuming, and unless you love shooting as a hobby, I'm not so sure you're going to want to put in the work and effort required to train enough to carry a deadly weapon every day. We also cannot simply brush aside the fact that carrying a firearm is inherently dangerous. Now, I've mentioned this many times on the channel, but when you start carrying a firearm every day, you may get a feeling of false confidence, man or woman. But the true fact is, your chance of getting shot and killed goes up, not down, once you saddle that loaded firearm to the front of your belt. That is, until you actually start training. This inherent danger I could see impacting decision-making of a woman more than a man because of their concern for the safety of their kids, leading them to maybe prefer carrying less deadly options like pepper spray, which New Jersey, of course, regulates too. Lastly, something as simple as comfort and concealability is just different for women than men. Women generally, and I'm using that word a lot in this video, I'm sorry, but generally women do wear tighter clothes, making concealing a firearm more difficult and less comfortable. They have other options like fanny packs and stuff, but then you're more likely to leave that firearm around off of your person, and the safety of their kids starts coming back into question. So we went over why I think women should carry, why I think women don't carry, but what can we do to actually change it and promote concealed carry for women? Well, of course, it starts in the home. If you have a wife and she's into shooting, bring her to shoot more. Encourage her to train first and then apply for a concealed carry permit. I'm thinking of doing the same thing with my daughters. I know many gun ranges out there do have women's only courses that you may want to buy as like a Christmas gift or something. And as some of those Instagram comments proved, women can be intimidated by your LARPing gun buddies. So I would recommend keeping your wife around other females when at the range. Now, if they are not into firearms, like mine is not, maybe buy them a self-defense course. You know, nothing to do with firearms. Then get some mace or pepper spray. I think in any of these scenarios, it's important to push training first, primarily with other women, to get comfortable first. Because I have made this mistake myself personally, pushing them 100% in and then they get scared. Don't push your wife or your daughter into it if they're not ready, because it could backtrack you years like it did me. One of the biggest things I think we need to make women be aware of is having the awareness of these crime statistics, and not to shove them down their throat and scare them or spook them, but women should know these stats that prove that the presence of a firearm with an attacker can save their life and their children's lives. Send them this video or any video you like to possibly open their eyes up to the idea. Now, that one idea that I had for a while is targeting certain jobs and professions that have many women and often requires for that women to be alone in risky situations with strangers. The first thought that comes to mind is real estate agents. The Second Amendment would be fantastic for women and men, of course, realtors who have to meet with strangers every single day. So maybe we can set up some sort of course or convention or seminar or something that shows to real estate agents, gets a bunch of real estate agents in one area and teaches them the importance of concealed carry and how they can benefit and stay safe from concealed carrying every single day, and why they should consider getting their permit to carry across the country, but especially here in New Jersey. If you like this idea and are interested in it, message me on Instagram or send me an email, j@jcostausa, on Instagram @jcostausa, and let's set something up. I could use some help, frankly. I can't do this on my own, so if you have any ideas on how to get this idea off the ground, let me know. At the end of the day, even though all the stats prove that carrying a firearm for a woman can save their life and their family's life, using these statistics to like scare the crap out of them is clearly not working. So I think at the end of the day, all we can do is educate them, stop intimidating or talking down to them, which is very important as well, and also get them and find other like-minded individuals, you know, obviously other women who are carrying, or even if they're not carrying, they're into self-defense of some sort, and just being around like-minded individuals is going to help a lot in this regard as well. Let me know what you think down below. What can we do, if you're a man, what can we do, or what have you done that has worked to, you know, show or prove to your woman or the women in your life that carrying a firearm for them is beneficial? And if you're a woman watching, let me know, you know, what you guys think. What's going on? Why are more women not carrying, especially in this state? And what can all of us do to better promote the idea of the Second Amendment here in New Jersey, as well as other blue states like it? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. I appreciate you guys so much, as always, for tuning in, and I will see you next time. God bless.